Hello, I'm sorry I can't be here today. So what I decided to do is I sort of improvise and tied together waves, but as well as like the interaction with biology and life. And I decided to key this and put this together as a workshop proposal. Um, so the title is Emergency Room Patients Not to be Waved Off. And then you sort of go through, it has a description. But basically, what this is a scenario-based learning experience where pretty much you're going to be taking the role as a doctor. So you're going to be a doctor and you have a variety of patients, and not only you're a doctor, you're a diagnostics doctor. So I'll read the little prompt right here. It says, "Welcome, doctors. I know you diagnostic doctors love this kind of stuff, but things have hit the crest as far as weirdness goes." Waves joke. Well, anyways, today is a weird day, and the frequency of patients coming in has been the largest amount in a long time. Hopefully these patients will disperse after the large wave of patients. In each of these folders is the information of their main doctor, their general practitioner, GP. As always, let us keep everything confidential and work only within your groups. You might not be familiar with the facility's policies. You are free to use any of our computers or databases to figure this out. You are their last hope. So essentially the concept is that you're a diagnostic doctor working with a team, and you're going to have these patients. There's all these patients that are coming in, so they called you in, and you're looking at pretty much a brief of different patients. So you have a manila folder with 4 random assortments, or depending on how many people there, more patients or less patients, or some patients' cases can be really quick, some are really slow, but you're going to have 4 inside of them. And essentially it's going to have some background information for you to sort of start to decipher what the situation is, what it connects to for waves. But also it connects directly to biology because it's looking at cells in a lot of ways and seeing how these EM spectrum interacts with matter itself, which is a physics standard, but also ties together to how other things impact life in a sense. So pretty much within there is they have to do a few things. So they're going to be a diagnostic and recommendation sheet that they have to fill out. That's what it says right here, and they have to identify the suspected causes of the situation, and they have to think of the best solution to the problem that they have. And they have to justify as a part of that solution the connection to the EM spectrum that details either the specific waves that cause the problem and how it impacts matter specifically and how those waves work, or they have to say, hey, we want to use these waves in particular to be a part of the solution. And then they're going to talk about how we're going to use X, Y, and Z wave to solve the problem. And they have to sort of justify that. Now, each of the diagnostic sheets have to be signed off by all the doctors. This is a collaborative effort. Now, they can obviously split it up, and I'm going to encourage them, because if this was my class, I'd say, hey, everyone has to work on something individually, split them up, then come back together and sign it off. So they're all working on this together. And in their packets, I personally, so in their packets, they have articles, journals, and resources, and that's an option. That's something that I would say is if you don't have Chromebooks, you're not one-to-one, then you can use articles, journals, and other resources. But I'm more towards the research side, just for the skills they get out of it. So the different patients, I think they're just worth walking through. So the first one's Matt Murdoch, which patient X, who has a bacterium, that a super bacteria essentially, that nothing's effective with. None of the antibiotics are effective with. So it's sort of going into that antibiotic resistance and bringing up that life science topic. And we're called in to use our expertise of waves to solve the problem. And they can sort of see that, oh, we can kill bacteria and we can kill these forms using UVC lights. Physics, the wavelength, it's a specific wavelength that is waves to destroy it. Next we have Elmer Fudd, who's a hunter, and he got shot by a buckshot. And for him, the solution ends up being he needs an X-ray being taken of him so that they can perform surgery and identify where the buckshot bullets are left, which are lead, and he has lead poisoning. Then we have Max Eisenhart, who's the headmaster of New Mutants, and so he walks in saying, with a tinfoil hat, saying the mutants are trying to brainwash him with radio waves. And this is sort of references, for me, I think that whenever people reference the tinfoil hat and radio waves, it sort of comes down to there's a whole MIT study on radio waves. So if I was going to put something in the folder, I would definitely put that. So basically, MIT did a whole study on the effectiveness of tinfoil hats to preventing pretty much, I guess, the waves from getting into your head for brainwashing. And so those are our patients that would be given, and then afterwards you would go ahead and go into a closure. Each group would be told they have to present their diagnosis and the next steps. So really, this is where you push for the additional wavelength information, make sure they understand they're tying it together, the EM spectrum.